Hi! So, in CK3 Roads to Power, you may have heard that immortality is now possible, so I thought I'd share a little video showing you how it's possible to get it. If we start a new game and make a custom character, we can scroll down to the bottom of the trait designer and take immortality, and there we go, you can now live forever. Thanks for watching. Okay, but that's not why we're here, because yes, Paradox did add immortality to Roads to Power, but they may have also added it into IRONMAN Vanilla. It's a big maybe, tied in lots of ifs, so let's see if we can't break down how we could maybe become immortal in CK3. The goal is to live from 847 to 1453 with one character. That is the ideal immortality, a massive 586 years. We may want to live longer for true immortality, but if the game is already over, is there any point? Next up, we need to understand how aging works. Characters in-game have a health stat, represented by a heart next to their age. This can be raised and lowered by buffs and debuffs, but ultimately will begin dropping a little bit every year until they run out of health and die of old age. The maths that makes this up seems to be every year starting from 25 years old, you have a 7.5% chance to lose 1.25 or an eighth of a health point. Every year after this, the chance of loss goes up by 2.2%. So at 26 years old, you have a 9.7% chance to lose health. At 27, you have an 11.9% chance to lose health. And on it goes until you've reached 100% chance to lose health every year until you inevitably die. Inevitably. Ugh, sounds so gross. So, what is the secret that will help us bypass this death by percentage? Life expectancy. Some buffs in the game can give you life expectancy, such as the inheritable trait Fecund, allowing you to live for another 5 years. In my testing, it seems that the way this buff is calculated is by pushing the 25-year age starter forward by 5 years to 30 years old before we start losing health every year. And now, the final piece of the puzzle. What if Paradox introduced a way to get infinite life expectancy buffs in a normal vanilla game? Well, in patch 1.13, the legendary shrine now gives you 5 years of life expectancy. How kind. What's great is this building can be built over and over and over again after completing a legend. So, here's the formula for completing immortality. Step 1. Get a holy legend seed. Step 2. Spread that legend as soon as possible. Step 3. Build the legendary shrine. We have to do all that in less than 5 years, every 5 years, for all time, to ensure that we keep the minimum age to start losing health ahead of our actual age. To match the 586 years, that would take 117 shrines, but luckily since we don't start aging till 25, and even when we do, we can live normally for 100 years, we probably only need to extend our life by around 470 years worth of shrines, equal to around 94 shrines. A casual 94 legendary shrines means completing 94 holy legends. So as you might be able to tell, this is a pretty intense requirement because holy legend seeds are expensive to fund, you cannot force the RNG spread rate of legends, and legend shrines take time to build. So let's break down how we can do this. Holy legend seeds can be exploited by owning a holy site. If you own Canterbury Cathedral, for example, you can complete a Custodian of the Holy Site seed and simply wait a day before it unlocks itself again. If it doesn't, you can force unlock it by switching from Catholicism to Insularism to Catholicism again. Spreading the legend is a little more sad of a story. Paradox have stuck a minimum length to complete a legend at 5 years, which uses up our entire set of time, which should make this challenge impossible, right? Well, not at all. You see, the age tick is not triggered by you completing a legend, so you can complete a legend and instantly start the next legend, par that 1 day seed tick to effectively stay perfectly level between the 5 years it takes to complete a legend and the 5 years of life expectancy given by the shrine forever. At the start, this can be a difficult task to manage, but the more you snowball and the bigger you grow your empire, the faster your legends will spread in your own land, which is also giving you the faith and gold to build the shrines on completion. Building the legendary shrine takes 950 gold and piety, with a cozy 2,190 days build time. 6 years per shrine is not very wholesome, so I recommend stacking building time reduction with the architect tree and stewardship, taking a royal architect court position, and maybe getting the industrious innovation to speed up the timeline. Just make sure to maximise your gold output. I managed to average it to around 2 years per shrine, and you can start the next legend in the time that you're building the shrine, so don't worry about this causing desync. The 5 years perfection is managed. Completing all that means I can confirm that it is actually possible to complete this loop to prolong your life far beyond anything that was possible earlier in CK3. I guess with that, immortality is achieved, and we have won. Oh, there's one more thing. You see, shrines are buildings, and buildings need a place to be built. Holdings, and since the holdings each cost 1 domain limit, you're going to need to own all 94 shrines, meaning holding 94 domain limit. And before you say, well, why don't we just go over domain limit? Well, being over domain limit by more than 5 disables all holding buildings, including legendary shrines and the immortality they grant us. This means we cannot go below domain limit lest we die. So in short, the true key to immortality is actually, how do we exploit our domain limit to the maximum? I wonder if I ever made a video exploring this. So let's do this count one more time. The maximum domain limit you can have is 4 domain from being an emperor, 16 from stewardship, 2 from divided attention, 1 from home estates, 19 from artifacts, 2 from innovations, 1 from pacifism, as I believe the dharmic combo has been removed, 3 from game rules, and in total that adds up to a nice 48 domain limit. And I'm not including forcing yourself into a regency for a domain limit because that's just silly. We can also go 4 over domain limit, taking heavy debuffs and temporary building disables, but eventually that does lock in another 4 shrines, pushing us up to 52. 52 domain times 5 life expectancy per shrine makes up 260 additional years of life before you even start taking health damage, so average on the normal lifetime of a character to around 110 years old with the life buffs and everything that you can collect, you could be looking at a 370-year-old in standard vanilla IRONMAN play. That is until Paradox either gives us more ways to get domain limit, or they nerf legendary shrines. Lol. 370 years old. It may not be perfect immortality, but you have to admit, it's getting pretty close. So, now we know what is hypothetically possible, let's take a quick look at how I got on actually doing this strategy over many, many hours. Okay, so you join me in the wonderful year of September 1066. A typical start date, you know, we've got William the Conqueror taking out England, except I started this stave in 867, and this is my starting character, George Strongarm, 199 years old. Almost hit the 200, but I needed to start in 1066. It was simply too iconic. As you can see, we're doing pretty well for ourselves. Health is absolutely excellent. This guy can keep going for probably another 100 years and nothing terrible is going to happen. But I am kind of reaching my limit in terms of domain. So as you can see up here, I'm 4 over and I haven't gone all the way. There are some things I could have done to really maximize my domain limit. I could have rolled Stone of Scone, I could have set game rule +3, but in general, I've managed to do pretty okay. If we go over down here, we can take a look at the economy mode, and yeah, these are all legendary shrines in the domain that I've built. So you can kind of see the ridiculousness of what needs to be achieved here. Golden Prestige is obviously doing fine, and things just got crazier and crazier. It's really important to just hold territory that has no special building so that you can place a special building there. That's why, for example, I don't own London and I don't own Gloucestershire. To briefly look at a couple of other things before we end the video, you might be interested to see what the memories of a character this long looks like. Well, it lags your game just opening it, but it's pretty long. It's a lot of children dying, wives dying, a long line of just history beyond history and beyond history, all the way down to 867 when I first got the Duchy of Wessex. Alternatively, you might be interested to see the legends, as by this disgusting warp of colour. I wasn't the Trojans, that's for certain, but if we go over to my legend library, you might be able to see that we have been doing a lot of Custodian of the Catholic Holy Sites and just looping them. The beginning was a little bit risky because I wasn't able to get them big enough because I was still growing, so I had to roll the 50-50 chance, and I managed to get lucky quite a lot of the time, usually having to wait longer if I couldn't. But once we got really started with the Emperorship, it was so easy, and there it all is. And with that, my 199-year-old George character has reached the end of the video, as have I, because goodness me, it takes so many hours just looping out these legends. I feel I'm quite done. I hope you enjoyed this exploration into completely breaking CK3, and I'm sure they certainly won't be patching this out. Please don't let them, it's simply too funny. Although setting it all up is quite a tedium, but you're more than welcome to give it a go and see if you can beat my initial estimate of around 370 years old. With that, I'll say thank you very much for watching. If you liked, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Who wants to live forever anyway? Bye.